Welcome back to the Gentleman's Gazette. In today's video, we'll discuss whether or not the term custom is all it's cracked up to be when it comes to menswear marketing. It's likely that you've encountered the word custom before when looking to purchase an item or even in an advertisement for something. Indeed, the word isn't a menswear-specific term. After all, cars can have customized details, you can order customized stationery, houses can have custom details, and the things inside them can be custom, like cabinetry or other furniture.
3 hours later.
With all that said, though, there's no denying that the word is used a lot, specifically within the world of menswear. We don't have to look any further than the Merriam-Webster dictionary entry on custom, where the definition, synonyms, and examples all relate the word to clothing. So, the aim of today's video, then, is to deconstruct the hype around the word custom when it comes to menswear, and to determine whether or not you can actually put your faith in it when you see it used in marketing. By the way, today's video is another in our Myth or Magic series, and you can find the full playlist here. So, what is the hype then? Honestly, you're going to see the word custom pop up more and more wherever menswear is involved. Sometimes it can be used to present an air of mystery surrounding a person, as in this clip from the 2008 film The Dark Knight.
No matches on prints, DNA, dental. Clothing is custom, no labels. Nothing in his pockets but knives and lint.
Mostly, though, the term is used to present a feeling of premium quality. This is because the generally accepted convention is that anything which is custom is going to differ from that which is available to the general population, and is therefore special, unique, or exclusive in some form. And along with this comes a certain idea of affluence, as many people believe items that are custom will also necessarily have to be expensive. Given these associations with exclusivity and wealth, then, it's probably only natural that you see the word custom as much as you do when it comes to menswear marketing. In fact, the term is so prevalent now that when one of our scriptwriters, Jack Collins, was doing research for a completely different video, he encountered an advertisement for Hockerty custom dress shoes. And after being intrigued by this pop-up ad, Jack found that Hockerty also offers custom suits, custom shirts, custom trousers, custom blazers, custom pretty much anything. Hockerty also made sure to mention their perfect fit guarantee, but at the same time, they did note that you may have to get things altered or remake them entirely. Setting the somewhat paradoxical nature of those specific claims aside for a moment, though, Hockerty isn't alone in how they're using the word custom in their marketing. Perhaps the most well-known adopter of the custom moniker when it comes to their own offerings is Indochino. Starting out in 2007 as an online retailer for made-to-measure menswear, they now offer an in-store experience in more than 60 locations across Canada and the US, with custom clothing at the heart of their business since day one. Both Hockerty and Indochino, then, pride themselves on offering a service where you, as the customer, can select your clothing's details as well as its measurements before it's made. Another popular brand for us to mention at this point would of course be Suit Supply, who offer both a similar made-to-measure experience, which I underwent to get this suit here, but also what they call their custom program. This program, though, is actually less customized overall than the made-to-measure experience I went through, as in the case of the program, you simply select a few key details to change on a garment that is then delivered in a ready-to-wear stock size. So, even though the user experience and the degree of customization vary between these three retailers, the key takeaway is that all of them are focusing on three things in their marketing. The fact that you're getting a, quote, custom garment at a low price and with a quick turnaround time. Conversely, and as we've discussed in other videos, most people are aware that getting a garment made fully bespoke is a much more expensive experience and comes with a significantly longer turnaround time on average. So then, it seems only natural that in today's world of one-day shipping, heightened convenience, and greater choice on the market, companies want to offer a faster and cheaper service while still retaining a so-called premium edge. After all, a custom-made suit for $289 delivered in just 15 days has to be good, right? Well, we'll speak to the larger answer of that question in a moment, but first let's take a minute here to give an historical overview of how the word custom has previously been used in menswear marketing. If we look back to the early and mid-20th century, in the so-called golden age of menswear, we'll see that the use of the term custom in menswear marketing actually isn't anything totally new at all. Indeed, it seems that from around the 1940s, we can see the word custom being used more and more often in advertisements, again to promote a sort of premium feel to a product. In this advertisement for Wright Arch Preserver shoes, for example, we can see that the Duke model is custom styled in brown or black calf. But by using that language here, it certainly does sound as though the company is putting extra effort into each pair of shoes, reinforcing the quality that comes along with custom. Next, we can see that the Daroff brand is advertising worsted wools for their Botany 500 line, which will be, quote, tailored with the quality and custom details that give your appearance the distinction you want. Here, of course, the words quality and custom are quite literally put together. And although what exactly constitutes custom details isn't really made clear here, the feel of exclusivity is again apparent. In this example from woolen manufacturer Pendleton, we can see the ability to purchase tan custom flannel slacks. The use of the term is especially clever here, as it's not immediately apparent whether the color of tan dye itself is custom, the wool is custom made, or indeed the trousers are made custom for the consumer. So the idea of exclusivity is present here, along with some playful grammar. And we couldn't take this little trip through menswear history without also mentioning this 1947 ad for Jackman Custom Originals. In this case, of course, the word custom is right there in the brand name. Though it was difficult to find any information as to whether or not the brand actually made fully custom clothing, what's more likely, and supported by other advertisements from the era, is that the brand was making clothing to be sold in stores more in a ready-to-wear mold. So, custom is used especially vaguely in this instance, but we have to admit it makes the brand name sound more impressive than just Jackman Originals. With history in mind, then, we return to our central question of what custom actually means. If we revisit our dictionary definition, we can see that custom is defined as being made or performed according to personal order. That seems simple enough, of course, but is it actually too simple a definition, leaving itself open to interpretation? In order to try to add some specificity to what custom means, then, we've come up with our own augmented definition, which is as follows. Anything not available for purchase right away that requires a degree of human input, no matter how big or small that input may be, with a particular design or use in mind that differs from what is already available for immediate use. To simplify that definition a bit and bring us back to a happy middle ground, it's easiest to say that in terms of menswear, custom simply means anything that isn't ready to wear. This then means that custom encompasses 3 levels in the world of menswear: made to order, made to measure, and bespoke. In the case of made to order, you're typically going to choose the material, details, and general sizing, and a garment will be made for you without any fitting done on your own body. An example of this would be ordering shirts from a retailer like Charles Tyrwhitt, who offer a variety of collar and cuff measurements, as well as an overall variable fit scheme, but you don't actually have to incorporate body measurements in order to get shirts. Closely related is made to measure, where you're going to choose the material and details, and then an overall template for a garment is going to be altered in line with your own body measurements for a slightly more personalized feel. An example of this would again be my Suit Supply suit. And when it comes to full bespoke, you pretty much have free reign, as a tailor is going to take a great number of your own body measurements and then translate them to a unique pattern, so you'll truly have a one-of-a-kind garment. Of course, we've discussed all of these definitions in greater detail in other videos, in particular this one. With all of this said then, what's the issue when it comes to custom? Well, as we've alluded to, the term has a broad definition, and it becomes murkier the more you think about it. To illustrate this, we can actually even bend our previous definition and say that even a ready-to-wear garment could be classified as custom in some circumstances. After all, there are various post-purchase customization processes, like adding on different buttons yourself, or even going to an alterations tailor, that would make a garment you bought off the rack custom to you. As another example, let's look at shoes. You could buy a standard pair of leather-soled dress shoes ready to wear, but then have them customized with things like rubber half soles for added traction, metal toe taps for durability, or even just add a colorful pair of different shoelaces. And given that humans are naturally asymmetrical, but ready-to-wear clothing is usually produced on a symmetrical pattern, ready-to-wear clothing should be adapted or customized to fit you a bit better in most cases. You can see how even off-the-rack and ready-to-wear garments can eventually fall under the umbrella of custom. Because they've undergone additional processes to be more specific to the user, they are now different from how they were originally sold. With all this in mind, then, the word custom in relation to menswear is one that seems simple at first, but is actually so broad as to have almost no real meaning overall. That raises the question of how much quality you can actually expect from a custom garment. Let's look here at two specific examples, starting again with my Suit Supply suit. Again, this suit is a made-to-measure garment, which was fitted to my body measurements from an existing template, and again, somewhat confusingly, is outside of Suit Supply's separate custom program. While the quality of the fabric and the detailing in construction on the suit are nice, and the overall fit is decent, the suit isn't perfect by any means. So, although I was promised a custom experience and a custom final garment, the results are a bit lackluster in terms of quality. Meanwhile, as our second example, let's turn to a piece that was just recently added to my own collection, a vintage 3-piece tuxedo, which, as you can see from its interior label, dates to 1937. If its age alone isn't already a specific testament to the quality of the garment, there are slight asymmetries that I notice when putting it on that suggest that it was customized for the body of its original wearer. You can see here how the tuxedo looked on me at initial try-on, but indeed I will have to have several alterations done so that the tuxedo will fit me better. In a sense, then, this tuxedo will ultimately be able to be considered doubly custom, as it was customized for both its original owner and will be for me as well. To return to our broader point, though, even though both of these ensembles could be considered custom in nature, the overall quality of their fit and construction varies significantly. So, what should you look for when it comes to your own menswear purchasing, then? Well, we're not saying that you should simply avoid the term custom uniformly, because after all, with how liberally it's used in marketing these days, you'd probably be left with very few options overall. Instead, what we do recommend is that you search for greater specificity. As a rule of thumb, makers and manufacturers that do high-quality custom work probably aren't going to use the term custom much, if at all. This is for a number of reasons, including the fact that they're proud of offering the specific service that they do, that they've likely trained hard to be able to offer that service, and that they don't want to put off potential customers by being misleading. Look instead for the more well-defined terms of made-to-order, made-to-measure, and bespoke then, as in our overall experience, more honest marketing will garner a more honest end result. Of course, price alone isn't an indicator of quality, and indeed, you can find high-quality garments for prices that definitely aren't going to break the bank. This is especially true, though, if you know specifically how to spot the hallmarks of a quality garment, and as an example, Raphael will walk you through how to identify a quality suit here. Overall, then, you should consider the hypothetical costs of manufacturing, materials, and labor when it comes to any purchase. Also, it's important to ask yourself the question, why am I going custom? In other words, what is it about the term custom that you find appealing for your potential garment? Is it, for example, just about the cachet and status of being able to say it's custom when people ask you about the new garment? Furthermore, have you checked to see if there are reviews from other customers that will speak to an overall level of quality about the garment? And also, could you achieve what you're hoping to in another way? For example, getting high-quality ready-to-wear garments, or having something already in your wardrobe altered to fit you better. Remember that in this latter case, that will make the garment custom to you, and it's also going to be both the most budget-friendly and the most environmentally sustainable option. So, to return to the fundamental question of today's video then, is the word custom in the world of menswear myth or magic? Overall, we're going to sit more on the side of myth with this one. As we've explored today, the term is so widely used in various marketing materials and applied to so many different kinds of processes that its definition is vague and wildly variable in quality. And most often, the term is used in conjunction with garments that are offered at a fast turnaround time for a low price, which means corners are likely going to be cut and you'll end up with an inferior garment. And with such a wide and varied use, it's impossible to say that all custom clothing is going to be of good quality. Does this mean, conversely, that anything that is marketed as custom is automatically going to be bad? No, not necessarily. But remember that in most cases, things marketed with more specific terms like made-to-order, made-to-measure, or bespoke are going to be better bets in terms of high quality. If you stick with a more well-defined process, then, it's more likely that your end result is going to be truly magical. In today's video, I'm accordingly wearing a few different garments which can fall under the wide umbrella of custom. Chief among them, of course, is my navy blue Suit Supply suit, which we've already discussed in a fair amount of detail. Also under the custom umbrella today are my shoes, and they might even fall into that doubly custom category, since I designed them myself on the Undandy website and then further augmented them when I got them with Fort Belvedere laces. My Charles Tyrwhitt shirt, made to order and therefore also possibly custom, is in a pastel yellow color and a twill weave, and into its French cuffs I've got inserted our gold-plated sterling silver Eagle Claw Fort Belvedere cufflinks with tiger's eye as the stone to reinforce that yellow-orange-brown feel. Also from Fort Belvedere today are my charcoal and orange shadow-striped socks, which read as a brown from a distance, my orange exotic Caribbean boutonniere, and my tie in wool challis in a sunflower yellow color with green, blue, and red accents in its pattern. Rounding out the look today is a relatively new addition to our shop, a double-sided silk pocket square featuring a motif of pheasants on one side and a large paisley on the other. This one predominantly features tones of yellow and orange, but it's one in a range of 4 that we've now introduced to the shop. So you can take a look at these new pocket square designs, along with the other Fort Belvedere accessories I'm wearing here today, and a wide host of others, by visiting the Fort Belvedere shop here.